up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. Water is wet and RPS members are shipping as usual. Our NBA content has been on fire since the beginning of the season. I kicked off the week by shipping a WFBBC seat on FanDuel using a low-owned Isaiah Livers recommended on the Premium Final Countdown show.
I hope he comes off the bench because I know for a fact they love this kid. They're going to give him run no matter what. They're probably going to push him, and he's $3,100.
Our premium content comes through big time, whether it's our up-to-lock shows, heat maps, core plays, or playbook. Join us today so you can start shipping too. I wasn't the only one shipping a seat last week. Our guy Locke secured a DraftKings NBA Live Final seat as well. AP's core plays from Sunday helped a bunch of members win too. Junior hit for $3,000, while Nick Story shipped for over $15K. Steve Boynton used our core plays and playbook to make a late swap that won him $3,000 in NBA. And Punisher used the NBA heat map to ship $100,000 on DraftKings. As always, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the like button on this video as well. Keep the good mojo going. Our NFL dominance continued into week 8 as well with some big wins. D-Hops shipped for $4K on FanDuel. EjoCam won $5K. And Dirty Deeds 30 hit for $7,500. Some of our best screenshots aren't necessarily the huge scores. Bankroll building is a big part of becoming successful, and we love to see the good ROI hits too. Cusp Love illustrated this perfectly, turning $2 into $800, while Wes turned $18 into $2,500 on DraftKings, and Jalapeno turned $198 into a monster $77K. His great pizza brought the great mojo in Cincinnati. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Until next time, let's keep running pure.
Hey, what's up? It's Holden. It's JSU. Dunkel from the bet side going to stop by, give us his DFS pick and picks and some betting as well. We're taking you right up to lock. Usually it's a premium show, so premium subscribers will get you over here. Be patient with the site. If you are a subscriber, a member, go to the content backup channel in Discord, okay? So I'm going to talk you through this real quick, and then we'll get into all our talk, and we got inactives out the yin yang today, and it looks like Roger's going to have some of his guys back, but content backup. So if you look down, go to information. It's right under the live show chat. Go down to content backup. Tony, Big T just put his whole player pool in there. Okay. We've got JSU's player pool and cores, which we're going to talk about coming up here in just a minute. Mangone's 3 max. We've got showdowns. We got Yahoo. We got FanDuel. We got Stack Chart, Cash Chart. We got Hoop in his playbook, Hoop in his cores, Tambo. We'll get locks up there too soon. The DK heat map, the FanDuel heat map. So everything you guys usually see on the site, that is going to be up. That is up right now. And the other thing is, if you're asking questions, don't do it on the YouTube channel. I don't even have the YouTube up. We're only going to take premium subscriber questions here in the live show chat. So anybody that's in the live show chat, will hook you up there. Okay. I can't say GFY because this is a free show. I'm not going to do that a million times today. So everybody, I know who's going to say it to me. You know who I'm going to say it to. GFY. Let's have a great day today. Okay. Now we did have some inactives coming out here. Lazard and Watson are both active today for Aaron Rodgers. So we'll see if Watson can stay on the field and not go down early. My favorite guy today, Cordero Patterson, active. So that'll be a sure fade for you guys. And then, sorry, Simon, I know you like him too, but that's just the way it's going. And then DeAndre Carter is in today for the Chargers. So I'm getting all these inactives that are going up right now. Waller is out. Let's see here. Jeff Wilson is actually active for the Dolphins. I don't think we need to worry about that too much. But the only other thing, JSU, is the Jets offense is horrible. The Bills are going to be without Tre'Davious again, and now Matt Milano, the linebacker's out. Just wanted to give that to you. If you like any run backs, if you're playing the Bills today, and I'm a little scared, man. I don't have too much Bills. I don't like this divisional matchup and garbage like that. And how uncomfortable is it going to be for me today, JSU? Good morning, good afternoon. How the hell are you? But how much Josh Allen do you have? And I don't know if I'm going to have any today. It's scary.
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, unfortunately, not doing that great as our site is not working the way we would like it to work. And, you know, we've heard it on the shows, obviously. I'll say it again. We apologize to anyone who this has affected, people that weren't in the Discord, which we understand there are subscribers that aren't in the Discord and they just watch the shows and they kind of sit to the side. They just look at the content and everything. We apologize, especially to you guys, because you're not in the Discord. Now, we're trying to get people into the Discord as much as we can, people that are trying. But at the same time, it just sucks all around. We're working hard to get this fixed permanently so we don't have to do it. We're investing a lot of money to get this so this problem never happens again. And that'll be that. And, you know, all done talking about it for now, but we do apologize. Back to football.
Hold on. Brock Wright is active too. Brock Wright is active. Yeah,
Brock Wright.
So we do have a question just real quick before we get your thoughts. I mean, does that change anything on James Mitchell?
No,
not that I'm playing.
I expected him to be active. Okay. You know, if he wasn't active, James Mitchell would be flying up the ownership boards and would be popular. And there's a big difference in these two guys. I like James Mitchell here. I believe because they know what they have in Brock Wright. He's not really a pass catcher. We've seen him play, right? He's not really someone that's going out there and they're going to target a ton. Mm-hmm. I believe they traded TJ Hawkinson for a few reasons, but one of them was because they were excited about this young rookie, James Mitchell, coming back. I think he had a knee injury that he was rehabbing from his senior year in college last year, but he was a pass catcher. He could catch the ball in college. He did pretty good at Virginia Tech, I'm pretty sure, where he went. And this kid, I believe they made this trade because they are confident in the tight ends that they have behind TJ Hawkinson. And I've seen Brock Wright. I don't think it's because of Brock Wright. I think it's more because of this young kid and them wanting. Listen, they're holding. What are they? 1-6 right now?
You're not playing. You're playing Mitchell over Wright.
Well, I'm not playing Brock Wright. First of all, I'll just say that. Like, there's tons of cheap tight ends. We've got good cheap tight ends too, like guys who can catch balls. And why are we playing Brock Wright? I don't know.
2.5K. I mean, you got to ask Hoop that. He likes him.
Okay, but just playing devil's advocate here. Tyler Conklin's 3,200. Would you pay $700 more for Tyler Conklin?
Depends
I would.
on what I'm getting.
Evan Ingram is $800 more. I would pay the $800 for Evan Ingram. Dawson Knox, 1,000. Hayden Hurst, 1,100. These guys are cheap. These guys are 35, 33, 3,200, 3,800 for Robert Tonyan. Why are we paying for Brock Wright, who we know is not really a pass catching tight end? Like, I'm not going to do it.
I mean, it's either Conklin and the Panthers or Brock Wright and the Bucks. And you're going to go.
So you think that the Buccaneers defense is that much better?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I think
the Panthers defense is just better in general. I think the Panthers defense is with the price included, one of the better defenses on the entire slate. They get Cincinnati. Cincinnati's O-line's been horrible. Struggling to move the ball without Jamar is going to be a thing. That's not just 1 week. That's going to be a thing. So I like it. And you're attacking some guys like Joe Mixon that'll be higher owned. So you get a little leverage there, kind of rooting, if you're not playing Joe Mixon, rooting against it with the D. So I think it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I'm definitely not playing Brock Wright. I will have shares of James Mitchell, though. I'm definitely going to play a little bit of him because they just don't have a lot of pass catchers holding. That's the other thing with Detroit. Look at who they have out. We talked about who's in. What about who's out? They're down. The rookie still hasn't made his debut yet. He's still out. Josh Reynolds is out. DJ Chark's on IR. Cephas is on IR. All these guys would play on the outside, right? All these guys. So they have a lot of these like inside type receivers that they're going to have to move around. Khalif Raymond, St. Brown, Tom Kennedy. I mean, you think that James Mitchell won't be a part of this offense? You don't think they're going to use him a little bit, especially when they get in the red zone? 6'4", 250, big target. No, you just think he's going to play like 10 snaps and that's it?
I think you're just using both of these guys because they're $2,500 and you're hoping they get 2 catches at this point. You know, I don't think
that's not my question though. You think who has a better chance of splitting out wide and being a receiver in the goal line, Brock Wright or James Mitchell?
You're
Answer
right.
the question.
You're right.
James Mitchell. So my point though is they have no one to play on the outside. They have no big receivers that Jared Goff, when they get close, can be like, okay, split out and I'm going to throw you a fade. Like they just have nobody. So I think James Mitchell, when they get down there, he could be that guy. Big body, 250 pounds, can get up and get the ball, 6'4", right? It just makes sense to me with how the rest of the guys and how their, wide receiver corps is constructed. It's just a bunch of small, shifty guys that they want to get out in space to play over the middle and stuff like that. But I do think James Mitchell will be in this offense and have a nice role. I would say, I think too, a better pass catching role than Brock Wright. I think Brock Wright will be used more as a blocker. So that's what we'll say about that. I like some of these like cheap guys. Like I think St. Brown's price is too cheap. I like Khalif Raymond, who we've seen be used all over the field. We've seen him line up at running back. We've seen him line up all over the field. I think at 4K, he's a very good, solid play. Josh Palmer, I think, is one of the most mispriced plays on the entire slate at 5,100. He's pretty much the number one receiver for the Chargers, and you're getting him at $5,100. And Justin Herbert in a great spot against Atlanta, who has their number one corner. Is Terrell still out, Holden? He's definitely out.
AJ Terrell's out.
Yeah, so I think this is a really good spot for someone like Josh Palmer to eat. And he is just so mispriced. I love him today.
Can we go back to Terrace Marshall this week? I know there's a random question, but we've liked him the last 2 weeks. Last week, it looked like he showed up. The difference is, I don't know if there's going to be a shootout like we saw last week's Carolina, Cincinnati. Could be. I also think a lot of the numbers, and I watched that game very intently because I had a lot of DJ Moore props and I had a lot of DJ Moore in the DFS. He caught a 60-yard like Hail Mary at the end of the game. So there was a lot of skewing in those
which
stats.
Should have never happened. That was terrible defense.
I know.
It is funny though, Holden. Someone said it. I can't remember who said it, but like when teams aren't playing the Hail Mary defense with like 40 seconds left, like when a team's down, that type, it does make sense to just try and throw a bomb like at that point, because what teams are trying to do. So like when they're not playing that type of like Hail Mary prevent defense is when you should be throwing the Hail Mary. Someone said it and I was like, why didn't no teams do that? Like it does make some sense, but DJ Moore should have never happened. Mm-hmm. I don't know why both those, I think it was a safety in the corner. They both just stopped like with him. They just like one of you should not have stopped. One of you should have kept moving back a little bit just to make sure if he starts running again, someone's back there. But yeah, I mean, I like Terrace Marshall again. I think that they're really trying to get him in the box, by the way. He had 3 goal line targets for just one-on-one. The option for him to just throw it up to him and let him go up and get the ball. He unfortunately couldn't get his feet down on any of them, or they were just tough throws. But it tells me that they're trying to get him the football, especially when they get down the goal line. And we know Foreman has been really good for them. He's their other kind of goal line weapon, though, I think that they're trying to use down there. And I really like him. 3,900 is still pretty cheap. Since he's lost, they're down 2 cornerbacks. Mike Hilton and Awuzie, I'm pretty sure, are both out for today. So you get the bump there with the defense. They've also struggled to stop the run last few weeks. They've been struggling a little bit more against the run. So I think Carolina's in a good spot to stay in this game. And I like them here. I do not like Cincy. I think Carolina is the team you want on this side. I'm very low on the Cincinnati side. I think Hayden Hurst is fine at tight end if you want to pay $3,600 for a guy like him. I think he's fine, but other than that, I don't really like the Cincy side. I'm going to be, just staying away from T. Higgins. Boyd's price went up. Joe Mixon, he's going to be popped. That price is just feels like a trap to me. They're trying to pull people into the Joe Mixon thing. I just can't do it. I can't
doing
it. Tony said he's like Zeke 2.0.
I'm not doing it.
I think it's a very good comparison. Zeke 2.0 is a very good comparison for Joe Mixon. And yeah, I'm not going to do it. I think all those running backs right in his range, I would prefer, like Holden, Joe Mixon 6,500. Ready for this? I'll just run it down for you real quick. ETN, yes, please. Ramondre Stevenson, yes, please. Yes. Mostert in a they call it the flop leg. What is that? Snyder's saying flop leg spot. Schneider, $6,100, I think makes a lot of sense against a Bears team that just traded away two of their better defensive pieces, one of their best in Roquan Smith for sure. Linebacker, I think they're going to struggle a little bit. Mostert could definitely bounce back and have a big game, and he's going to be lower owned. Foreman, I rather have over him. I think I'd rather have Jamal Williams, who I think is going to play a lot more.
Let me talk to you about him real quick. Yeah. Because last week, DeAndre Swift, your boy, your favorite running back ever, who just can't stay healthy, buddy. It's not your fault. But this guy can't stay on the field.
Last week was my fault. That was a bad play by me.
He was limited last week, but he still saw 55% of the snaps. So Williams got all the work, but Swift was still out there more. So they're saying the exact same thing that they did last week.
You got to remember, though, it's not about Williams getting a ton of work, right? He gets the valued touches when they get down in that friggin' goal line. And you look at Williams and what he's done this year. Holden, it's crazy. The man has had, like, every game where he scored, it's been 2 touchdowns. Like, it's insane. Like, every single game he scored, it's 2 touchdowns. Like, how is that? They just give him those valued touches down there, and that's why he's doing it. And obviously, the games where he doesn't get in the box twice, he's probably not getting there, right, Holden? But when he does, he's going to be lower owned, and I think he's in play. Like, I wouldn't rank him ahead of those other guys I said before him. Obviously, I like all those 4 running backs I said over him, but I do think he should be in your pool because I think Green Bay they struggle to stop the run. I think this could be a heavy dose for a guy like Jamal Williams in this game. And I think they're going to move the ball still. So unless you think Green Bay just stomps on Detroit, which I don't, I think Detroit can win this game. But unless you think Green Bay stomps on them, like, I think Jamal Williams makes a lot of sense here.
I got a 2v2 for you. Same price on DK. Garrett Wilson or Darnell Mooney. Can you talk about both those guys? Because I got a guy that's just been trying to sell me on Wilson all week long. Like, I don't know, and the other guy that's right there is Mooney. He's $100 cheaper, and Justin Fields is looking at him, but they're both shitty quarterbacks. So should we both throw them in the trash? Good morning, JJ. I know you're there. But what do you think about that little 2v2 if you're saving money?
Yeah, I like Mooney if I had to choose between one of the two, but I like Justin Fields a little bit as well. Not as high on the Jets. I prefer, if I was going to a Jet, it'd probably be Tyler Conklin. I would prefer, just because tight end, it's kind of a wasteland outside of maybe like 1 or 2. I would really prefer. And I think all these guys are really close outside of my favorite guy, which is Gerald Everett. I think is just in a really good spot. And I think he's a great, it's a great double stack playing a guy like Herbert with Palmer and Everett. I think is a really good double stack. I think Everett's ownership on DraftKings will be different than on FanDuel. I think on FanDuel, it'll be like twice as high. And on DraftKings, I think it'll be half that or lower, like 5% probably, just because you have to pay a premium for for him as opposed to on FanDuel, where 5,800, FanDuel's a little softer in the pricing in general. So I do think you see a difference in ownership, but I do like him a lot. He is technically like you. I wouldn't be shocked if he played a lot more just outside as a receiver, like just as an outside receiver to keep Palmer inside a little bit and stuff. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened, but it's a really good double stack in my opinion. But Dunkel, what's up, buddy? You got the Viking shirt on.
Real quick. I just got an important message here. Just real quick.
Okay.
The subscribers, check your email because you should have a newsletter right now. And the guys in the back, very nice. They sent a little thing out here, a little website, and all of our content is on it. So yeah, the site's not up, but you're going to get all the player pools, the cores, everything you need. So check your email. We also posted it. Yeah, I think we posted it in here too. So hopefully we get, Mangone just put it in that's the coordinators chat. Let's put it in the live show chat too, guys, but go check your email. You'll get all the content there. So they did a good job getting that up very quickly. Good morning, Dunkel. Talk to us. What's up?
So I have a bit of an issue. I don't have as much years hosting as Holden does, or as much game time experience as JSU, but it's extremely disrespectful for somebody to walk onto a show and not be acknowledged for about 15 minutes. So
that's bullshit. I saw you 5 minutes come in. I introduced you a minute after. Stop whining, JJ.
Yeah, so I'm not in the best mood. But with that said, happy
join the club.
Join the fucking club. We're gonna win. We're all angry now. We're definitely winning today.
I don't know. I have no idea how somebody can perform so poorly and consistently be at the head of these shows. But anyway, keep up the good work, Holden. Always enjoy doing these. And hey, look, we got a little free show, a little more people in the chatters today. So I'm looking forward to talking some of these games with you guys.
Dunkel, I do enjoy not being the host on shows that you're on because you do just always trash whoever's hosting. Like, I don't know if people realize this. If you're not a sub, you might not always watch the Print Factory, but the Print Factory was free this week, so you might have seen a little bit of it. But Uncle Dunkel, he just hates hosts. He hates hosts. I wonder if it's because Holden... Uncle Dunkel is a host on some of his shows.
He's not a host.
So, no, he's not a host. No. And maybe he just prefers to host. And if that's the case, Dunkel, I would gladly hand the controls to you for the
He's as good of a host as I am a better. That's how bad he is. He's as good of a host as I am a better.
I'm just saying, though, I would gladly give Dunkel the hosting job on the Print Factory. Yeah. I don't know if Boss T will allow it, but I would totally allow it if it's allowed by the boss. So we'd have to ask the boss, though, obviously, Dunkel, you know.
I like the lanes I'm currently in, actually. I think I'm doing a good job in the lanes that I currently sit in. So I'm good with the status quo there. And I actually enjoy critiquing from the sidelines, objectively, of course. So yeah, that's likely going to continue to happen. So look, at the end of the day, Holden, just do your job, right? I mean, just keep it simple.
Shut up, JJ.
Uncle T's in chat. He said JJ greater than Holden. I agree.
Who said that?
I agree.
Who said
Uncle
that?
T in the chat.
Oh, Uncle T, give me a break. Uncle T, I do that podcast. I didn't even have to. JSU's like, you can do whatever you want with the podcast. So you're towing the line right now. If you want to host for the podcast, you better start kissing my ass.
Uncle T,
let's get into this.
He's a smart guy. He's a borderline savant.
He's not very smart. Settle down. He belongs in a Wendy's drive-thru.
You just said Uncle T's a savant. Wow, that's some high praise.
This is the kind of takes we're getting from JJ today. Why don't you give us some bets? Give us some bets, buddy. Seriously.
Yeah. So I bet the Packers team total over today. As we continue to say, Detroit's just a point slot reel for opposing offenses. And yeah, Green Bay's offense has been a shit show this year. A lot of lack of continuity between Rodgers and his receivers. It feels like an Aaron Jones type of day. I'm interested in your guys' perspective on that. Like when I say Jones, I mean like a big Aaron Jones type of day, because it's just somebody always eats against this Detroit team. And if you don't think it's going to be Rodgers, who else is it going to be? So yeah, ultimately, I just feel multiple paths to get there. 26.5 is the team total. Whether Green Bay goes up and then Detroit finds their way back, or Detroit opens up a big lead because they play much better at home. Either way, I think Green Bay is going to be forced to score today. And you don't have to be super efficient against this Detroit defense, especially in the dome. So I did fire there. And my favorite bet on the week, I said on the Print Factory, I love the Cardinals today. I think the line's easily wrong. The Cardinals should be favored by a lot more than 1.5, definitely past the 3. So love the spot land the 1.5. Feels like a complete overreaction. Because honestly, like these two teams play week 1, this line's likely 6.5, 7. And nothing's really changed outside of people's perceptions of these two teams. So yeah, Geno Smith's looked better, but I mean, I feel like that has a glass ceiling. So yeah, ultimately love the Cardinals here. 1.5 favorite bet of the week.
Yeah. Okay. Holden, what side are you on in that game? Because we had a debate on the Print Factory. It was 3v1. Yeah, 4v1. Oh, wow. Dunkel, I think Tony's on an island. I do worry, though, when Tony gets on islands because he prefers being on islands.
Don't worry. He's going to be wrong this week. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. I like the confidence.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got angry, confident Holden today, okay?
I like it.
Besides for everything else that I'm not confident about. All right.
Can we talk about Dunkel just owning us all with this? He's got the Vikings cutoff shirt, and then he's showing the guns just a little bit, but not a lot, just a little bit with the t-shirt that's a little too small for him. I mean, let's
be clear. This shirt's an extra large. It's not cut off either. It just has different. It's a two-tone. It's what they call.
That's not a cutoff.
No.
Oh, wow. You fooled me.
It's all one.
Wow.
So I want the 3/4 sleeve shirts like Holden wears.
What is the Jersey Shore of Minneapolis? Because I feel like we could find you hanging out there sometime, JJ.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to try to bring the Jersey spirits to Minnesota. A little too cold for me over there. Yeah. But yeah, hey, maybe they host an NFC Championship game. Maybe I'll take a trip.
Okay, wonderful. Can we get into the show now, or do we have to keep listening to your bullshit?
Yeah, but I want to talk Vikings first with our resident Vikings fan here, Holden. I mean, we got Dunkel on. I need his take. Is Justin Jefferson the best wide receiver spend up on the slate, Dunkel?
So call it contrarian, call it what you want. I don't. Hopkins is probably the best spend up today. I know that's not like crazy theory, right? But to me, I line it as Hopkins, then Adams, then Hill, then Jefferson. Not to say Jefferson can't get there, definitely can. I don't know. Most of my lineups seemingly I'm finding landing on Hopkins.
Yeah, I think Hopkins is I think he's the play if you want 22. I think Justin Jefferson's ceiling in tournaments and ownership puts him ahead of guys like D-Hop. I just think this is a spot where you're going to see a blow up Justin Jefferson game. He hasn't gotten the box in a little bit. I think it's a big 150-2 type game where he puts up 35 or something like that and just has a massive game here. And the ownership's going to stay in check. Everyone, there's two things about the Arizona-Seattle game that has me kind of staying away from it from a DFS perspective outside of the defenses is I feel like everyone just wants, and Dunko, you play split slates, so you don't really do this as much, but tell me if this theory is correct. I feel like everyone wants at least one guy in the later games, to have a little sweat. So their lineup's just not done at the 4:00 games. I feel like that's how a lot of people approach it. And when you have only 2 games to pick from, the ownership gets even more condensed on the best plays. So whatever D-Hop's coming in at right now, ownership wise, I think it's higher than whatever it is, because I do feel like if people are playing a Cardinal, it's D-Hop. And Seattle's at least a little different because they have a few different guys. I think Ken Walker's going to be up there, but they have Lockett and Metcalf. So I think the ownership may get spread on that side, but I don't know. I don't really want to play D-Hop if his ownership is going to get too high. And I feel like that's how everyone view it. So I'm going to take the reverse stance and just play a little bit of the defenses on both sides, because they're both kind of cheap, and, hope it's just kind of a slug it out match with the defenses doing a little bit and holding those ownership plays in check.
Yeah, I can't mind it. That's more game theory, I guess, than anything, right? Because you're more or less implying that Hopkins is going to be overowned because of that fact, versus like if Jefferson was in a lone 4 o'clock game, maybe you would be playing more Hopkins than Jefferson.
It's more of that theory of like, I think he's going to get more ownership because of that reason, which I think affects Jefferson's ownership, because I don't think it affects Tyreek's. I think Tyreek's, wherever it is, I think that's what it kind of is, right? I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to get ownership. He's up at the top. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's going to affect only a few guys. I think people who play Josh Allen will want to play Steph Diggs. So like his ownership will probably be where it's at. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I think Justin Jefferson's a smash play today. And I like Antonio Gibson. Interesting stat here. So Taylor Heineke started 2 games. In his 2 games total, he has targeted the running backs 20 times in those 2 games. Big difference between him and Wentz. Wentz was using Curtis Samuel as his safety valve. Targets have gone down for a guy like Curtis Samuel since Heineke's taken over, because they're using the running backs, I think, a little bit more and in different ways. So I think Antonio Gibson with J.D. McKissick out at 5,500, I think he's a good pivot off of Deion Jackson, who people will play. And I think he could have a nice game catching the football and, play more, especially if the game goes the way I see it, which is the Vikings get up and Washington has to, throw a lot to come back, which they've had to do the last 2 weeks with Heineke.
Yeah, again, I can't mind it. Let's talk on this. Points per dollar. That whole top receiver core will go 700 and above. How do you rank them?
I would rank them Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and so it'd be Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, then probably it would be D-Hop, then Kupp, Adams, Steph Diggs.
I'll just say this one last point, so we're not obviously talking about just this for the length of the show. The Adams piece, I feel like Adams in this spot is typically a U type of play. I mean, he's not going to be owned much. He's coming off an awful game. He's in a game that figures to definitely potentially shoot out. Just talking on ownership leverage in general, Adams seems like a good spot, but like the dude just feels like he's been, I don't want to say dust, but like it's just something's off. I mean, we could blame Carr if we want, but something's off in general. Any reason why you're so low on Adams today?
I think I'm low on Adams in general because we've seen it, like he's just not used the way Aaron Rodgers would use him. I mean, he was literally Aaron Rodgers' like guy. Like they would RPO at the goal line all the time to get Devontae easy touchdowns, like just easy one-on-one, like at the 1 yard line. They could easily just run it in with AJ Dillon or Aaron Jones or whatever. And he would just always Adams every time. I would talk about the last couple of years about how many short yardage touchdowns that Rodgers to Adams has, that it's ridiculous, the numbers. And Derek Carr, he's just not that way. I'm not saying he won't pepper Adams. They're obviously friends, but he just doesn't do that to the extent that Rodgers used to do to really pad those numbers for Adams, which made Adams always a great fantasy play. But that's why I'm not like jumping to play him.
Fair enough. Okay, Holden. You can go back.
Just keep talking. I'm trying to build a lineup here. Go fuck yourself. I'm not supposed to say that on the free show. It's a free show today. Anyways, hey, subscribers, go ask us some questions in the Primo chat. I'm just looking here. Let's see your content backup again. You get the newsletter in your email, content backup, Tony's final player pool, and his cores are up there. So that's where we're sitting. We still got about 50. We got 51 minutes till lock. Everybody take your time. Do you guys realize that the clock turned back last night? I didn't realize that till
I realized it when I woke up this morning.
What's that?
I realized it when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, I get it.
It's uncle.
He's in fine form today.
He's in great form today. I love it. I love it.
I want to be clear. That wasn't sarcasm. I'm being honest. I woke up in it. I'm not,
yeah, but everything you say it just feels like it's sarcasm.
That's on you. That's not on me.
That's not on me. Okay, here we go. Let's get into this, jabronis. Real quick, though. Anybody on Christian Kirk today?
Yeah, so probably have about 20% of Kirk.
Ooh.
It's more of because I just want exposure in that game and any one-off, and he's just one of the guys where I'm one-offing. Obviously, ETN's a guy I'm one-offing too, but
would you throw them both in the same lineup without a?
No, I don't. I think they can get there, right? But if I'm trying to win a pretty decent sized tournament, I don't think you can with both of them.
Okay, good stuff. Good talk. Good times.
Let me ask you this, JSU quarterback. So I'm really underweight on Fields, Allen. Do you find yourself at the field overweight on those two?
Yeah, I'm overweight on Fields. Probably a little under on Allen, even though I like Josh Allen. I just have more Justin Herbert and Justin Fields. So I'm going to be heaviest on those two quarterbacks. I think Allen's a great play. I'm going to be higher on Herbert, and I'm going to be higher on Fields. But yeah, those three are in play for me. I think Jared Goff's also in play just because you got a lot of value in his pass catching weapons, I think, which make it easy to stack. I just struggle. Like they run the ball a lot at the goal line. I could easily see Jamal getting 2 more today. So I'm not going to be as high on Jared Goff, but I do think at 5,500 at home, he's in play as well here at quarterback. If you just wanted more, like a bigger pool of plays.
I just look at this slate in general. Like I feel like at all these like mid 5 to high 5K quarterbacks, like I hate to use the word nuke, but I feel like any of these guys could easily 4X today at these prices. Which puts me lower on Allen, who of course can 4X at his price today as well, but just makes it tough. And Fields, my problem with Fields is who do you pair him with? I mean, are you playing him naked most of your lineups, JSU?
I mean, I like Mooney. I think Claypool is going to help him. I don't think Claypool hurts him. I think Claypool will actually help him. And I also think, though, you don't have to play. Fields is a great quarterback to play naked. You don't have to play a weapon with him. Like, even if N'Keal Harry gets in the box or Dante Pettit, like it's not like you need them always. Like Fields is perfect to me to play naked. I wish I could play like Khalil Herbert. He's just too expensive. I wish he was cheap. Like, you know what I mean? For the role that he has, because I think he's really good. And I'm just not as high on David Montgomery with how they're using Herbert. I think it's really starting to kind of take the touches away from Monty. So I'm going to stay away from the running backs because I do think you could have played, if there was like one guy, you could have played him with Fields. But I think naked Fields is fine. Like just play Fields naked if you don't like Mooney. And it's so cheap. Like it's so cheap. Your rushing touchdowns are definitely in the realm of a possibility for Fields here. There's going to be some win, but like, I don't know. I think he's just too cheap to pass up having some shares of.
Fair enough.
All right, guys, let's get into some questions here. I will scroll back up and try. Let me see here. 1140. Okay. All right, I found it. You're going to be the first question. Anybody that posted anything after 11:45 Eastern, I'll get to. So, Tom Kennedy, worth a look from the Jerker. Anything, guys? Tom Kennedy. I mean, we're digging. We're
definitely digging.
I prefer Raymond. I know he's 4K, so he's an extra K, but Raymond, at least we know, gets targets weekly. He was even doing work when St. Brown, when a few of them were all healthy. So. Yeah, I'd personally not say Kennedy can't get there for you. 3K is min price dude, but I'd prefer Raymond for a K more.
Here's how I look at it. If you're playing like a bunch of Goff stacks, I would put him in the pool. Like I wouldn't take him out of the pool. Like if you love Jared Goff stacks, I think you just keep him in there. If you're playing like 3 lineups though, he wouldn't be in consideration. It'd have to be more like an MME type play to me, where you have a bunch of different stacks of Goff, maybe double stacks or something like that, where he fits as like a cheap guy with Raymond or St. Brown or a Mitchell or something like that. I mean, there's some really interesting ways to go with that Lions passing game if you wanted to.
It's going to be a really weird lineup to cash today, man. It's going to be a weird lineup, especially if any of these really obscure Lions are in there. Whew. This whole slate is crazy. I'm excited though. I'm excited because isn't it going to be spread out? Just ownership all spread out everywhere. Like besides for Ramondre Stevenson.
I think besides like those 6K running backs, those two main ones that everyone's, I think, looking at, or maybe even three. Like, I don't think Joe Mixon's will be as high as Stevenson or ETN, but I think he'll be right under it. I think outside of those guys, like, the ownership is going to be a little bit held in check. Maybe Austin Eckler, I think, is pretty high. Too. Those are probably like the three highest owned running backs, I would say.
Do you guys?
And then FanDuel, Deion Jackson specifically will be higher, I think, on FanDuel at 5K. I feel like he'll be a cash like staple. I'm just not doing it in tournaments though. I'm going to stay away from Deion in tournaments. You're pretty much, I think, playing the Patriots defense too, especially on FanDuel. If you're fading Deion, playing the Patriots defense with Stevenson gives you a little extra leverage because you're rooting on the Patriots dominating, the Patriots keeping them away from scoring, obviously keeping him out of the box. It just makes a lot of sense. So I think if you're fading Deion on FanDuel, play some Patriots defense with Stevenson to get a little extra like leverage on that fade because he's going to be very popular.
Thoughts on DJ Moore today? I was telling you before the show, he got there last week with a Hail Mary at the end. Where's DJ Moore on the list? Is he even on the list, guys?
Yeah, I mean, from a price per dollars perspective, I definitely prefer Moore over Marshall. I know, JSU, you've been a big Marshall guy. And actually, Marshall was I think he might have even been having a better day than Moore before that explosive touchdown late. But, Moore just seems to be getting a lot more action. And at the price, I'd personally prefer Moore because I figure Marshall's got to be popular. JSU, what are you seeing his projected owner? I mean, let's say popular as a 3.9 receiver can be. You see him anywhere like maybe 10%, 12%?
I think he's a little lower than that, honestly. I think he's under 10%, Marshall. I think there's other cheap plays that kind of space it out a little bit more. So I wouldn't worry too much about that personally.
I love Terrace Marshall again. I like him as much
I like
as
him again too, man. He's 3,900 still. I mean, he's still so cheap. His price barely moved. He got 3 goal line lobs for touchdowns.
I know.
I mean, if he caught 1 or 2, if he caught 2 of those touchdowns, he would be the most popular play on the slate right now, like at 3,900.
Yeah.
At wide receiver, anyways, in that range.
There's no question. I don't know. They're just all right, whatever. Let's keep going here. We got more questions. We've got a 2v2 for JSU from DFS Dom. Terrence Marshall Jr. and Eckler, or Palmer and Aaron Jones. Can we talk about Aaron Jones for a couple minutes or a minute here, guys? First of all, what's the 2v2 here? Marshall Eckler or Palmer Jones? And then can you talk about Jones, JSU?
Ooh. I think those are good ones. I think the Palmer Aaron Jones side is a little safer and still provides similar upside. So I would lean that one. As to your question about who were we talking about? Aaron Jones? Was it you asked? Yeah. I mean, I like the way he's been being used. I like the way the Packers have used him the last couple weeks. He's just on the field a ton, and he's on the field with AJ Dillon too, which is good too a little bit. That's another thing that kind of makes me feel better about him. But I have no issue with Aaron Jones. I think he's in a good spot here against Detroit. Great matchup. I mean, especially if he's getting this type of workload, which they've been throwing to the running backs a ton. They've been feeding them. It makes sense for him to have a good game here. The question is, he's a little more expensive than those 6K running backs. Is the 6K running back range just too good, to pay up? We saw last week, and I know it's a little different price, but CMC, Derrick Henry, those guys went nuts. And you didn't need them. It was crazy. Like it was just so good, that 6K range with guys like Kamara, who smashed, and Pollard, and I forget who, Deonta Foreman, I'm pretty sure smashed. Like, you just didn't need those spend up guys. Does Eckler and Jones fall in that range? It's the one thing I worry about. with the spend up guys. I think Jones is a great play. I think Eckler is a great play. I think at the end of the slate, Eckler could have 30 and he's still not on the winner. Like,
Ooh.
That's just the way, that's just how good the 6K running backs have been. So I'm trying to not fade as many of the 6K running backs. I'm obviously going to fade a few just because you can't play them all. Like, I'm not going to be as high on the Seattle Arizona game outside the defense. So I'm fading Kenneth Walker. I'm not going to play Joe Mixon. Like, I'm not going to play Josh Jacobs, who's not in the 6K range, but I think he'll get ownership. I just don't really love that game as much either. So I'm staying away there. And then Deion Jackson, I already talked about, like, I'm probably not going to play him. So those are kind of like my ownership fades at running back. And that's kind of how I see it here. But Dunkel, how do you feel about these running backs? Like, you think like how I do, where like Eckler and Jones could both put up good games and you're fine if you have them, but like at the same time, they might not hit the winner even with good games?
Yeah, so I'll briefly talk on a few of them. So Deion Jackson is just a guy in this type of spot that I never play. He beats me. It's a tough defense. Even when he was the guy this year in good game scripts, what do you see, like 15 touches in like really good game scripts? Now, granted, he might get extra pass catching work potentially, I guess, in that sense, but Stevenson's been such a freak in that respect. I don't know how New England's offense goes from splitting these running backs, neither of them getting catches, to going to one running back who's getting like all these catches. So the catches alone make it tough to not play him. ETN just seems like he's so good. Like every week, it doesn't matter. He seems to get there. But Eckler, yeah, it's tough for me because I do have a lot of Herbert. So it's hard to play a lot of Eckler for me. I mean, granted, you can play them together, but to make it a little different, I guess. But it's hard to play them together, in my opinion. On trying to think the other running backs in the area. Walker, I'm not going to have any exposure to. Again, another guy that beats me. I'll have some Mostert because I think the upside's there and nobody's going to play him. Mixon lower than the field for sure. Doesn't mean, anything. And pound for pound, like the highest running back I have is definitely Aaron Jones. Like I said, Green Bay is going to score. And to me, I'm choosing it to be Aaron Jones that does the bulk of that damage. So yeah, Aaron Jones is going to be a guy I'm probably way over the field on. Hopefully falls in the box a few times.
Lake Bum, any Cordero Patterson love? Yeah, Deadhead said it. He's in cores. Simon likes him. I like him, which is a little scary for you. But yeah, there is some Patterson love. JSU from T. Brad. He wants to know something. Jefferson and Gibson or Hopkins and Kenny Walker? Now, we just got done with the Kenny Walker talk, right? Is it Jefferson and Gibson?
So Jefferson and Gibson or Kenny Walker?
Hopkins and Walker. Yeah.
Well, yeah. See,
there?
you know my side to that question, though, because I gave away that I'm not going to be playing any of those guys outside of the defense. Again, though, it's more a leverage theory that Dunkel obviously hit on because he understands like what I'm saying by this. But I just feel like that game specifically is going to have more ownership than you even think because it's the late hammer game. There's only two. People don't like how Stafford or Brady have looked. So I don't think that game gets as much love. Maybe a little Chris Godwin. Maybe people play a little Cooper Kupp. But like, I don't think the game gets as much love because I don't think people have loved what they've seen from Stafford and Brady to this point. So what does that tell you then? If people are doing the thing where they want at least one guy from the late game, it's probably coming from the Seattle-Arizona game. So from that standpoint, I'm going to stay away from that game. So my lean is the Jefferson side, obviously.
Okay, let's keep going here, gentleman. Deion Jackson fade on FanDuel. Yeah. JSU, you're doing that too? Deion Jackson fade on FanDuel?
Yeah, those are the plays I never play. Like Dunkel, it's an ownership game. Like you're fading him getting in the box, right, Dunkel? Like you're just fading it. So as he leaves me as I ask him a question. So
yeah,
that's
job,
a classic
Dunkel.
JSU move that Dunkel stole from me. So I like it actually.
Let the record show that I was walking away before you mentioned my name and I wasn't going to stop. So anyway, feel free to repeat the question, JSU. Happy to help.
I said though that you're pretty much like trying on FanDuel, you're fading because on FanDuel touchdowns, it's all about touchdowns for the most part anyways. So like the higher volume guys still don't always like they're fine, but they don't always get there sometimes on FanDuel. And I get that he's cheap, but you're pretty much fading him staying out of the end zone at that point, right? Deion Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about it. I'm basically almost complete fading him on DraftKings. So FanDuel, I would definitely not be playing him.
Yeah, same here.
I like Robert Tonyan today. I don't have any Tonyan, but I like him, guys. You guys are fine with Tonyan, right?
Wow, you sold me hard on that one, Holden.
It really feels like a lot of conviction there, Holden.
I mean, you're the analyst. I'm the fucking host. You know, do your job.
I really like D-Hop, but I got 0 of them. But I really like him today.
Complete smash spot. Probably
both.
nukes the slate. 0% ownership from me. Yeah. Next question.
There are no more questions. If you guys are gonna be mean, I'm just gonna shut it down.
Oh, poor
I'm
Holden.
gonna hijack Discord, and then you can't.
We need someone to come on and rub Holden's back. We get your girlfriend in here. Let her give you a back massage.
She did last night. She gave me a foot rub. It was awesome.
Wow,
Any Demir Bird as a run back in your Herbert stacks.
Oof, no, not for me.
SP Gills.
Yeah, no.
Well, he didn't ask you. He asked JSU.
Not for me either.
I don't know if you know how the show works, JJ, but you answer when I say you answer.
Oh, wow. We're getting serious now.
I can't even be mean to him without laughing. 2v2 JLB. Adams and Jackson or London and Eckler?
Is this to JSU or is this to the panel?
Good. I'm glad we learned very quickly from that.
This is definitely to the panel.
Yeah.
So
I'll say your name if I don't want you to answer.
I did bet London over his reception numbers, but again, they're not a lot. So his price isn't ideal. Even though I know you pair Eckler there, I prefer the first option though over the London, even though I did bet London's prop over.
Yeah, I would go the first one too.
Okay. Any Throbby Robbie JSU from the Green Ranger?
No Throbby Robbie. He was barely used last week, I'm pretty sure. I will double check that. Yeah, I mean, barely used last week. They said they want to get him more involved. I mean, what does that mean? You're playing AJ Green almost 50% of the snaps. Dortch is getting some run. Like, well, Moore and Hopkins are going to be out there. They're not coming off the field. Like they play almost the whole game. So I don't know. Does he bump AJ Green out of his role? I have no idea. But you're pretty much just looking for a deep shot. If he catches the deep shot, you're good. He'll probably get 1 or 2 chances. That's probably what they mean by it. But I'm not going to be on him as much.
Is Amon-Ra St. Brown a good play on FanDuel, given so many of his points come from receptions?
I mean, I think he's with all those guys that are out. I think he's a good play just in general.
He's just a good play.
Yeah,
it's wonderful to hear. Jets defense ? Andy, what? I mean,
okay,
if you want to be
Jets
the most
defense is
ever.
2K. I understand just full punting, but they are also going up against probably the best team in football, probably the best offense, probably the best quarterback in football. Like, just get 300 to go to the Panthers, get 400 and go to the Commanders or Seahawks for 500 more. I think all those are better defensive options. I like the Cardinals at 2,900. I get though why people just want that full 2K punt, but for me, I would just find the extra couple hundred to get to Panthers, Washington, Seattle. Just that's how I view it. I think those defenses are just better options. And I'm not going against one of the best quarterbacks in football on any of those other spots.
Christian Watson, 3.5. He's getting him a tutty today. All right, Piper High. In order to do that, he can't get hurt. Like he's Mr. Glass. He got hurt in that last game they're in. Dude can't stay on the field, but go for it, dude. Hi, Outa.
I mean, honestly, I don't hate that call. Like, okay. I wouldn't be shocked if he catches a bomb. Aaron Rodgers definitely likes him. He just, like you said, he can't stay friggin'
no.
God, poor guy can't stay healthy. What was it? The first play of the game, just one catch, boom, done. The rest of the day,
field,
like.
Dude.
Listen, if you got the balls to roll him out there, though, he's 3,500. he catches one bomb, Holden, you're golden,
in.
right? Yeah. I don't
must
I don't
say
hate those type plays in Millie Maker formats, like just taking a shot like that. You know what you're doing when you play a guy like that, but like,
what are you doing?
know,
Just holding your breath?
no, yeah, you're just hoping for a deep bomb for a touchdown, I think. Like, it's like playing Robbie Anderson. Like, you know what you're doing playing those type of plays. Like, they're not volume type plays, especially with Lazard back and how they're using the running backs. You know, the obs look good. Like, there's other weapons. You got Tanyan still there. It's just you're playing it, hoping you get that bomb touchdown.
Did we look toward playing any of the Detroit tight ends, or should we just fade them? All right, we kind of talked about this, OG Joe, but you are just talk about it real quick, JSU. The situation.
I am pro James Mitchell because he is a pass catching back. Someone posted it actually in the chat. They said Brock Wright had like 7 catches in the NFL so far, and he had like 8 catches in college or something like that. Something silly. Like, he is not a guy who they're just going to feed targets to. I believe he's going to be out there blocking a lot. They're not going to be designing stuff for him. It's still, though, you never know. He could luck box a short yard touchdown, of course. But I think James Mitchell is going to be targeted. I think they're going to have actual like plays where he gets the ball in the goal line if they're throwing it. Like, I think they'll use him out wide. He's a big tight end, 6'4", 250. Is more of a pass catcher too. Dunkel, do you remember this kid in college, James Mitchell? He was at VTech. He was a tight end. He got hurt last year, I think his senior year. But he had some decent numbers catching the football in college. So
the only thing I remember about VTech's offense was Herbert, who was a monster. Him and Hooker playing together. Well, Hooker's still in college, but Herbert, Herbert, which doesn't surprise, he looks better than Montgomery because like Herbert was awesome. And Herbert,
I'll keep saying it. I said it the last few weeks. I'll keep saying it. Herbert, that dude, they need to keep getting him the football. Don't stop.
I agree.
All righty then. Good talk, guys. Good talk. Good stuff. Conklin and Marshall, or Mims and Tunyon? Mims, huh? Conklin and Marshall, or Mims and Tunyon for the bank
Conklin
swish?
and Marshall. No, definitely Conklin and Marshall.
Conklin and Marshall.
Yeah.
What do you think about over 25.5 yards for Conklin today, JJ?
Definitely don't mind it. I feel like you're coming off a ceiling type game. I'm not sure how much people correlate that into their own metrics, but clearly getting targeted. Obviously down another weapon there in Corey Davis. So yeah, I'd prefer the over versus the under, if that helps.
Mac 2 services. Hell yeah, Holden with the Zephyr shirt. That's right, dude. This Zephyr shirt is so comfortable. It's not even funny. I mean, I absolutely love it. All right, AP just sent me something, boys. He said that the site is up. Is this true?
Love it.
I mean,
I've seen it
it's
said
not
in
up
the chat.
It's not up on my thing. So if you guys got it, that's awesome. Good for you. I got all the stuff I needed from the email they sent out. Thank God. I do not have the site up on my side, though. All right, let's keep going. We've got a 3v3. Oh, cash. All right, this is a floor, guys. Allen Raymond and Zay, or Mariota Godwin Palmer. Allen Raymond and Zay, Mariota Godwin Palmer. Oof, that's a rough one.
Whoops, sorry.
What are you whoopsing about?
So wait, Josh Allen?
The site's up officially.
Josh Allen? Raymond
Josh
and Zay?
Allen. Josh Allen.
I would go that side in cash.
That's your side. Okay.
Over Mariota, definitely.
Site was up. So excited about that. I really was. We've got Jefferson, McLaurin, or Diggs and Lockett from Petchy. Jefferson, McLaurin, Diggs, and Lockett. Hey, why isn't anyone talking about McLaurin this week, by the way? Heineke's back there. All he does is get peppered. Heineke loves this dude. And Heineke is now the face of the Commanders because they put him on the 2023 season ticket waiting list poster. So that's awesome too. But
the one thing that helps him too is they've been trailing a lot, right, with Heineke. So, if you think that the Vikings get up in this game, it's probably going to be a healthy dose of, like I said, I think Antonio Gibson gets a healthy dose of work in the pass catching. I think Terry McLaurin makes some sense too. My issue is there's just a lot of good receivers. I'm not landing as much I struggle with playing like Terry McLaurin over these running backs in that range. Like when I fall in my last spot, you know what I mean, Holden? Like Mostert, Foreman, Jamal Williams. Who else is in that close to that range? Stevenson, ET. Like I just, it's tough for me, but I don't hate it, especially if you're playing Justin Jefferson. Get that little mini stack correlation. You could definitely do it.
Let me just get back to the questions here. Khalif Raymond or Marshall, last piece. B. Larson.
I know JSU's going to say Marshall. I personally prefer Raymond.
Okay.
But yeah.
How do you know what I'm going to say? This is very hurtful. JJ doesn't even look at my content. I'm actually hurt. Holden was fake hurt earlier when he said he needed he needed a massage or whatever.
Totally fake.
But totally.
I will
fake.
say this.
I am actually hurt.
My
though.
4-year-old son pulled my thumb out of its socket and dislocated it yesterday. 4 years old. This kid's freakishly strong.
Good for him.
I know. For him. I gave him a high five with my other hand. I'm like, you strong little son of a bitch, you. Anyways, were we doing anything, or was it just ready to move on?
No, I was just hurt by Dunkel.
So are you saying that in your own core, you value Raymond more than Marshall?
Dunkel, I am saying that if you looked at my content, which is in the content backup channel in the Discord or on the website, if it's finally up now, you would know the answer to this question. But it's very hurtful. Just will say it's very hurtful.
Yeah. He's hiding information, Holden. It's giving me blue balls.
He is. Blue balls? That's gross.
It's giving
Zero,
blue balls,
FanDuel, 2v2, single entry, Amon-Ra and Marshall, or Gabe and Rondale? God, am I just going to cry when I don't have any Josh Allen?
Amon-Ra, Marshall, or Gabe and who?
Rondale.
Oh, Amon-Ra, Marshall for me. I do though. That was Gabe Davis, right? Was the Gabe you're referring to? I do like Gabe Davis here. He's going to come in so low owned. Like he is a really good tournament play. So here is one team that I was toying around with, and obviously I'm not giving you the full team, but start your lineups out with Gabe. You go Gabe, Josh Allen with Jalen Waddle instead of Tyreek Hill. Those two guys are going to come in, Gabe and Jalen, I think like 5%, because Jalen Waddle got a big price bump. A lot of people are going to just try and get up the Tyreek Hill from there. I think starting like a tournament lineup with those two guys is really, really sneaky. You could also, the other thing I'm toying with is going to Fields and those builds just to give me maybe a little bit more money to get Justin Jefferson in there as well, and having like the 3 low-owned receiver build on this slate, which I love the running backs. I love playing 3 running backs on most of my teams, but I do think this is a really sneaky way to get 3 guys with massive ceilings that are going to be lower owned for a few different reasons, but obviously price is definitely included, being the number 2 guys in offenses that are really good, but also offenses that heavily target mainly their main guys when they're putting up touchdowns. So I think it's a really sharp tournament build starting out with those 2 guys. Super low owned leverage plays. You could play chalk everywhere else on that team too, because the ownership is going to be so low.
Are we going to be talking about you winning a ton of money on that core next week? Are we going to make a little video of you, JSU?
Nope.
I like it.
Nope.
It's kind of sexy.
No, I don't need a video. I just,
you'll get one.
If you ship with it, you can give me a high five or say thanks or whatever.
I'm trying to get into Saber soon, but is Patterson and Mariota in one lineup too much? Blues.
Is Patterson and Mariota too much?
Too much.
What does that mean?
Too much for one lineup, I think.
Too hot to handle, JSU.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Well,
Is too
I
hot
do
to handle
think
for my
they
lineup.
could negatively like I do think that Patterson could negatively hurt Mariota's like complete upside. Obviously, if he rushes into as opposed to throws Cordero to, it could affect Mariota. I hate the volume of that team from a pass, like from a throwing standpoint. Mariota just drives me insane because they love to run the football. I mean, I don't care who's back there. Huntley, Algier, Patterson now. Just add him to the mix. They are running they're running the football well too. And remember, they're going up against a Chargers defense that has really, really struggled, specifically stopping the run. What do you think their plan of attack is going to be against this Chargers defense? They're going to try and jam that ball down their throat. This team runs down like 21. It's insane. They don't care. They do not care. They are hiding Mariota, which is fine. I get why they're doing it. But it is funny when they let Mariota like throw the ball downfield. He'll always make one of those plays to one of those random receivers where you're like, oh, there he is. Like he just made a play, got his receiver and hit him in stride for once, and the receiver took off for 50 yards. Like that's the thing. It's weird to me. Like the getting in these holes and then they're still running the football and then they finally let him throw. The defenses don't expect them to do it either. So it's, going to catch them by surprise too. I struggle playing Mariota here. I think there are other better cheap plays personally.
That's cash. So. He's got a little floor. It's because he's going to
run.
run.
Yeah. Like I think he's a cat. I mean, for tournaments, I mean like full upside. I just don't see it.
Last man in, guys. DK Millie, Mostert, Jamal Williams, Patterson, or Foreman. I got Mariota. So he's got Mariota.
More options. Mostert, Foreman,
Jamal, Patterson, Foreman.
God,
I like Foreman
lot.
too. How do you not like Foreman on top of it?
Yeah, Foreman's a good play.
Yeah, he is.
So me personally, it'd be between Foreman and Mostert. How I would go between that question. So I'd trim it down to those two.
What do you think, JJ? You too. After JSU, I think that's interesting. Foreman, Mostert. What else?
Is it only between Foreman and Mostert?
No, it's
for
not.
JSU, it is.
For me, it is. I think I would lean Foreman, but it's pretty close between Mostert and Foreman for me. There was Patterson and who else, Holden? Who was the other guy? Patterson?
Jamal Williams.
Yeah, no Jamal Williams for me.
Why is Zay Jones and everybody's like, this week he's going to blow up. This is the week he's going to blow up. Like, is he ever going to blow up?
I mean, Trevor Lawrence, the one that blows up when they get close to the friggin' goal line.
Yeah, that dude gets the yips inside the 5. But I'd argue it's also, I blame the coaching there too, because he obviously shits his pants there. Just run the football.
Just run the football, exactly. Like it. Yeah, I agree.
Just run the damn ball. Best tight end punt for 3K or less. Kind of did this one already, but
so I know it doesn't fit the 3K bill, but like I absolutely love Ingram today. He's 3-3. I know it doesn't answer that question, but for me, 3K, just looking through some of my guys. Wow, hate to say it. I have 0 tight ends under 3K.
Ooh. Total fade of the.
So Jay, at least so we can answer the question. Do you have anybody 3K you'd play?
Huh.
James Mitchell is 2,500. I will have some James Mitchell here on this slate. So yes, James Mitchell.
Take that, JJ.
Love it.
You love it?
Love it.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't like it. Why
do you want us against each other on this show, Holden? Why can't we be together? What the heck?
No, it's free. I can't get along. It's free show.
Holden says I put people against each other. I mean, you
do.
Doing it right
you are
here.
the worst at that, dude. You got me and Mangone in a fight for like a year, and it wasn't even either one of our faults. I
don't recall this at all.
This is such
JJ,
bullshit.
it's all
totally
lies.
Remember,
It's all lies. They're all lying.
No,
They're
you
all
know
trying to
you
get
did.
me, JJ. You see
He's
this
a bad
right now?
person.
I just
He's
want
always
it.
being a bad person, JSU.
I just
you
want
say?
it known that Holden's out to get me right now, and everyone should
It's
know
not
it.
true. You're just
It's true.
you start shit with everybody. You make us hate each other, and then you laugh about it, and then you deny it.
I
Foreman or Jamal
deny.
Williams? I think we like Foreman, right? DC salary caps wants to know.
Foreman.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're with us on Foreman. Garrett Wilson or Rondale Moore, last spot with a Herbert stack from Dr. Lucky.
Wilson for me.
Hi, Oda. Gabe Davis bounce back week, JSU from Drew CA.
Yeah, I'm with you, Drew. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
baby. I'm looking forward to it. Hope so.
Hold on, let's not do that again. Thank you.
Yeah, baby. AJ Dillon.
I'm with Dunkel. Please stop.
Yeah, baby. AJ Dillon leverage. The more you tell me not to, I'm going to. AJ Dillon leverage over Aaron Jones. Why are we playing AJ Dillon today, guys?
Woof. I actually think Dylan's good. They obviously are really going to Jones a lot more now. I don't know the snap. I mean, maybe JSU, maybe you know the snap disparity, but I think Jones keeps climbing, right?
Yeah. So the what's happening right now, and I touched on it, but just again, because I don't think you were on the show when I touched on it, but they're playing a little bit more together. I'm pretty sure is one of the things, but Jones is right around that like 40 to 45% range for snap counts. Now he has a 35% rush to snap share. So like it's not like he's not getting the ball when he's on the field. You know, he's getting the ball a decent amount when he's on the field. But like you said, they're really focusing in on Aaron Jones a little bit more. But it's reasonable to think that they could continue to play more and more together. I think too. The one thing that worries me is Lazard back. I think he's the one other guy outside of those running backs that Rodgers like really trusts, like really does trust. So that's the one thing that worries me a little bit. But yeah, AJ Dillon for me, I just can't play him over some of those guys we already talked about.
Every week, man. Guy gets like 10 touches for 40 yards and nothing. I don't know what they're doing. Thoughts on Hawkinson? I mean, there was the report that they're going to try and utilize him in the first game, but can we really trust TJ Hawkinson this week when we like Justin Jefferson? Dalvin Cook is there. Come on. What are we doing with Hawkinson?
I mean, I like Gerald Everett at 4,800, so I'm not playing Hawkinson over him. But I mean, I don't doubt that he'll play. I don't doubt that he'll play a good amount. I don't want to pay $5K for TJ Hawkinson. I'm not gonna pay $5K for TJ. I'll stay away. Dunkel, what are you doing? You're the Vikings fan here.
Yeah, I'm also big on Everett here. So ultimately that's where I go. I have 0% Hawkinson. Look, if the dude in his first game nukes, I mean, so be it. But I'll tell you this, if he nukes, that means Jefferson likely doesn't. So yeah, I'm not on Hawkinson.
How many yards is Zach Wilson throwing for this week? Is he going to get to 150?
The dude's complete ass cheeks. Like
he's so bad.
I mean, I said it ever since last year, even when he got drafted. Like I'm just not a fan. I think Flacco, as crazy as it sounds, makes that offense look better.
I do too. My problem is that like we're talking about who was it, Moore and Conklin, and they got Zach Wilson throwing to him. Like, is it just they're going to be down so much? I don't even know if they're going to be down today. It's a divisional game. I don't know. That Jet situation is just ugly, man. There's so many better offenses. B Davis, JJ, can you talk about JJ again? Because I missed it. That would be Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, really. I say I'm underway, but I'm actually probably at the field because he's not going to be owned today. So yeah, I think I have him in maybe 2 of 12 lineups, maybe. Definitely 1, possibly 2 of 12, which will put me at the field. I'm finding it hard to get there on him today. And to JSU's point, Duke could definitely nuke at any slate. Obviously, he goes for 150 and 2 touchdowns or something like that. It'll just shatter the slate, especially since the other guys in his price range would have to get there to even be remotely comparable. But I'm finding most of my lineups ending up with Adams and Hopkins.
You guys do not like Kenneth Walker, correct?
I have
Would
0.
that be correct or incorrect?
I don't have any Kenneth Walker.
And is it price point? Is it touchdown equity? Is it
No,
yards?
it's the where he's at. I just have other guys over him. It's a really good range for running backs, and I don't think you can't play all these running backs. Like, you got to take some type of stance, and whether you think he's the best of that range, that can be your opinion. That's fine. He's a good player. I just think, for me, I'm not playing all these guys, and I got to take a stand. Kenneth Walker, Joe Mixon are in that range that I'm not going to play. I'm just going to fade those guys. If it bites me, it bites me, but it's a really good running back range, and the 6K running backs have been smashing. It's not going to shock me again if 3 of these guys are, back on the optimal team, and
Hope they do.
3 of them smash.
Hope that's the way it is. And that's going to lower ownership on Eckler, right? Eckler's still going to get his 20%.
He's going to be highly owned. He's
like
owned. The top. Yeah, he's the top running back play.
Okay.
Well, him, Stevenson, ETN, those 3 guys will be very popular.
Stevenson, ATN. Why Raymond over Marshall? Again, we keep getting these, right?
I think Raymond, I have them very close, but I think Raymond has a very good chance for the volume, the high volume on DK. Whereas I think Terrence Marshall on sites where you're looking for touchdowns is like maybe a little bit of a better play, because I think he has a better chance of getting in the box. So that's how I view it. I think the volume is going to be there though for Khalif Raymond. Kind of like how St. Brown is, like we're talking about it, but they're very similar in that aspect where they're kind of just Swiss Army knives, can do a little bit of everything. St. Brown just plays normally over Raymond, but Raymond is a poor man St. Brown, I think, in a way where he's used similarly and can do the same things. He could have, 9 targets and 7 catches for 85 yards. Like, it's very, very possible. I think Terrace Marshall has a better chance of catching a touchdown though.
All righty then. Gabe Davis and Mitchell, or Marshall and Conklin. FanDuel single entry from Sarah. Davis, Mitchell, Marshall, Conklin.
I'm going to go the Davis Mitchell side.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Being weird again. Hold on. Just letting you know.
I don't care. I seriously don't give a shit. Green Ranger, any Higbee.
No Higbee for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say it, but I didn't want you to bark at me again, JSU. You're just never a Higbee guy.
Will you say something mean to JJ?
I just can't play a dude that can't friggin' move after he catches the football.
Tell you what, if he did catch that one ball last week, you would have seen how much he possibly could move. That one ball he dropped looked like a 60-yard touchdown in front of him.
He would have had a chance for sure on that drop.
But you're right. It's like every week there's one of these with Higbee where it's like it could have, would have, should have. So yeah, I'm slowly losing my own steam with him. But
and he's popular. He's going to be popular again, right? Like, he's going to get ownership.
At his price,
I just don't like that game either.
At his price, he's basically got to get ownership.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll through these. We got about 7.5 minutes. Either one of you guys, any Higbee, Green Ranger.
None for me. I think Dunkel has a little more interest, right?
Nothing. Yeah, I'll definitely have some Higbee just because.
All right.
The guy predicts.
Jefferson, you better relax. Jefferson Raymond or Ramondre McLaurin? Ooh, I like Ramondre McLaurin, by the way.
I think in tournaments, you got to play the first one. I think if you're looking to be a little safer, play the second one.
Thoughts on Eskridge? Do you have any D Eskridge today with Goodwin out? That's Andy.
I didn't end up with much D Eskridge, but I think he's in play in Millie Maker formats. The way Arizona covers, everyone kind of knows they do a pretty solid job of taking away that number one passing option. So, and with no Goodwin in, D Eskridge has a chance to get a bump and do some work. He's interesting for me too. And don't forget about another cheap guy. Just don't forget about him. But the New England offense is without Parker, and they're also down Harris here. Tyquan Thornton is used in a lot of different ways. He can get end arounds. They just want to. They're going to try and, I think, get this dude the ball in space too. He's super talented. He's $3,300. He's a guy like, if you're not playing Stevenson too, you might want to think about maybe throwing him in a couple builds, because I think he's someone that they could look at to get the ball in his hands, however it is, from an end around or something where it could, possibly affect Stevenson, or maybe they can both, at the prices, they could probably both get there, but I do think he's in play.
All right, let's just go with words. We don't need to explain this now. We got less than 5.5. DK Millie from DK JSU, Mooney, Garrett Wilson, or Christian Kirk, and Khalif Raymond. Mooney, Wilson, Kirk, Raymond.
I guess the Kirk Raymond side.
JJ from Mossberg, FanDuel, last piece, Marshall or London?
London for me.
Kush Dunkel, JSU. Hey, Don Yeezy, good to see you. How about each of you give us one player on the Millie winner, one on the FanDuel winner? That's a lot, man. That's a lot, Deadhead. Let me just give you a Patterson. How about that? McLaurin and Godwin, what is their ownership looking like from Piper High? JSU, can you look that up so I can ask our boy JJ the next question? Go deep. Yep. Best wide receiver under 5,200, JJ. Best wide receiver on DK under 5,200 this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean it's chalky, but it's got to be Palmer. The dude has a lot of upside today. Whether he gets there or not, I know it's chalk, but I consider him good chalk.
He's playing that Mike Williams role, not the Keenan Allen role.
I would probably say like Godwin comes in at like probably around like 15%, I think, because everyone likes to play some of him when he's in that range. And I bet you Terry probably comes in. He comes in single digits, I would say, probably like 6 or 7%. Okay. I think around there.
Ramondre and Mooney or Jefferson Ingram from You Better Relax?
Ramondre, Mooney, Jefferson, and who? Well, Ramondre, Mooney for me.
Okay. Lake Bum, Waddle or Aaron Jones? No sight, last piece.
Aaron Jones is going to be more popular. I think he's just the running back is just the safer play and similar upside. Unless your team's super chalky and you don't want lower ownership, then it would be Waddle. But I think the answer is Aaron Jones.
Our boy Tyler, this is for you, JJ. McLaurin or Walker? I got 6-1 left. It's got to be DK. McLaurin or Walker today?
Yeah, got to be McLaurin for me just because I'm complete fading Walker. So
Trap Triple B, JSU, Raymond or Terrace Marshall? We're getting the same question.
Yeah, Raymond, but it's close.
Hill or Jefferson, guys, from D. Lenny. We're on Jefferson. I love Tyreek. We're on Jefferson. Okay. If you want to play Hill, I still think you can go Waddle. I'm right there with JSU. I tell you this every week. The guy's got the same upside that Hill has. He gets more touchdowns. Hill gets more yards. That's just the way it goes. Antonio Gibson, yay or nay from Mark F.
Yay for me.
Yeah. For you, who?
I said yay for me. You said try and keep it to one word answers.
The guy has gotten a lot more work lately. Lazard or Boyd? Last spot. Rashad T.
Lazard.
Lazard and Bandy or Dubs and Raymond?
I don't really like Dubs that much. I'd go the Lazard side.
We'll go to Divine Diablo today. Ooh, there's one for you. That's a defensive play there, dude. We can't talk about that. I'm talking to myself. I apologize. I'm all over the place. But what's different?
Okay.
What's different? Palmer, Ingram, or Mooney and Hurst? Palmer, Ingram, Mooney, Hurst. We're done with questions, by the way.
Palmer, Ingram.
Palmer, Ingram is the play. All right, you want to get plays of the day, guys? We're basically out here. This is great.
Yeah, someone asked Millie Maker win. I think Justin Jefferson's on the Millie Maker winner.
Jefferson's your guy.
Crazy, but I do think he's going to be lower owned and he's going to pop off for a big game. I think you're going to really, really want him. And then someone who's going to be, I would say pretty low owned that I do think has definitely a shot, but Gabe Davis, I think, is going to be pretty low owned and dude just got massive touchdown upside. Everyone likes Josh Allen, but there's some reason he's not going to get played. the price alone, I think, is going to keep people off of them too. So say Big Gabe and Jefferson are two guys you're going to want.
JJ, did you have anything?
Nothing to add there. Hold it.
Palmer and Ingram or Mooney and Hurst? We already did that one. So we're done. Justin Jefferson. He's going to go 80 catches for 6,000 yards today. Agree or disagree, JSU?
I mean, I would love to. 6,000 yards. I mean,
Yeah.
How can I agree with that?
You can't agree with that?
6,000. I'll go for 150 and 2 tutties. How about that?
I'll take that too. That'll be kind of sexy.
Will.
I will definitely take that. All right, guys. Good job. Wonderful to get through it. Anybody looking for our content and you're a member, go to your email and you'll find a big email from us. It's like, here's all our stuff. And then it's the NFL playbook, is everything's on there. Unfortunately, we only got a 2-game afternoon slate today. So get everything in there, and then you can take some. You know what? Isn't Tony really good at 2-game slates? JSU, isn't that kind of his bread and butter?
Tony's good at those small. He's good at every slate. Screw him. He's good at every slate.
That's like the 2-gamer. We gotta run with some him. JJ, whatever. JSU, wonderful to see you. Thank you behind the scenes to Simon. Oh, JJ. Get us out of here, Simon.